Welcome to Money and Marriage Lesson 5, Love Languages, Giving, and Big Purchases. Oh, this is one of my favorite lessons. We get to talk through love languages, how you spend money on other people, and finally putting together a spending agreement. I know planner like me loves that last part, but I also love all the rest of it, okay? Let me tell you a story about two clients and why I like this so much. When they were dating, Ben showered Nancy with fancy dinners, weekends away, and many, many gifts. Nancy loved the time spent together. They had a lavish wedding. Like it was incredible, guys. They probably spent $50 to $100,000. And, shocker, they came to me with a lot of debt a few years later. Their goals when we first met were to get out of debt together and to keep their marriage strong. Your marriage always comes first. After going through the love languages assessment and activities similar to the ones that you're about to do, and actually yours are better because I've done it with a lot of people, Ben and Nancy realized that their spending didn't line up to how they felt loved. Ben was giving Nancy gifts left and right because that's how he felt loved. Nancy was making Ben delicious, nutritious lunches, doing housework for Ben, and trying to spend lots of time with him because that's how she felt loved. Their love languages were mismatched. They didn't realize that each of them felt loved in a different way. Now, we just talked about love languages. I just used that terminology. Let's define it. According to Gary Chapman, the 5 love languages are physical touch, quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, and receiving gifts. We each feel love in a slightly different way. Things that make you feel loved might not make your spouse feel loved. You might love to be complimented. That's words of affirmation. Or maybe you feel more loved through physical touch. Very often, a couple's love languages are different. They're not the same to each other. And it's important for your marriage, but also for your budget to know what your love languages are individually, separately, and for you to know what your partner's love languages are. Okay. Once Ben realized that Nancy felt more loved through quality time and acts of service, he stopped buying her presents and started started spending more time with her. Okay. Maybe he started cleaning up around the house more often. Nancy found out that gifts and physical touch were Ben's top 2 love languages. So she started putting more effort into gift giving and making sure their time together was, well, something Ben appreciated a lot. So that took the pressure off their budget, and it also helped their marriage. You see how these two things are super interconnected? Before they knew each other's love languages, Ben was spending more and more money on Nancy to get her to do the same thing for him. He wanted to show her that he loved her. So he was spending money on her because that's what he wanted her to do for him. Nancy was feeling more and more stressed from all the spending that Ben was doing. That made her less likely to spend money on Ben because she was afraid of the budget. She was seeing their debt climb. And so then she didn't want to spend money at all. And it also caused her to kind of be super stressed out and not really relax in the bedroom. Anyway, once you know your primary and secondary love languages and your partners, you can plan and budget to better show your spouse the love that they want to feel. Let me say that again. Once you know your primary and secondary love languages and the primary and secondary love languages of your spouse, you can plan and budget together to better show your spouse the love that they want to feel. We'll connect these dots in the budgeting lesson. Okay. Now let's talk about gift giving. Our partners are not the only people that we spend money on. Holidays, birthdays, special occasions come up, and we need to buy presents for people, don't we? Right? Somebody just graduated from college and you get them a present. You have a birthday coming up and you're going to get your friend or your sibling or family member a present. Let's talk about that. How do you buy presents for people? Are you more planned or are you more spontaneous and carefree? Are you someone who shops all year round and snags the deal when it comes up? Or are you someone who finds the perfect gift and worries about the cost later? Do you buy presents last minute on the way to the event? Maybe you just give cash. How do you give gifts? It's good to get all of this out in the open so you can come to an agreement and avoid arguments about gift giving. That's part of today's activities, is talking about how you give gifts so that you can build more harmony into your marriage. That leads me to the last point in this lesson. You'll be putting together a spending agreement between you and your partner. It looks like this. I promise you, you need one. It'll save you from arguments throughout your whole relationship, and it can change over time. I know my husband's and mine have. You and your spouse need to agree on when to call the other person before buying something. It'll make more sense as you get farther into the lessons. Say you have a budget and you're both doing a great job following it. You also have a sinking fund for some lovely landscaping around your home or something like that. You've agreed on how much to spend. Should you call your spouse before you sign up with a landscaping company? Yes. I'm here to say yes. Okay. It's a lot of money. Call or text and just make sure. More communication is better than less. That doesn't mean that the other person has control over you or the spending, but it does mean that you're communicating and you are being respectful of your spouse and your shared money. You never want to make a big purchase without your spouse in on the deal. Avoid the argument, just avoid the argument and check in first. More communication is going to help you. It's a trust thing. I've given you a template, just follow it. Next, you have 3 activities to do: your love language quiz, an online activity that you do individually, and then a guided discussion that you'll do together. Please make sure to do your activities in order. You'll use what you learned from this video to learn more about yourself and your spouse, so you can start to work better together when it comes to your finances. Let's do this. I will see you in the next video.